Dennis Rodman is figuratively and literally the most colorful character that we have ever seen in the NBA. From the wild brawls that he took part in, to doing the most bizarre and outrageous stuff outside of the basketball court, the man known as the Worm never fails to entertain his audience. I mean, he's the only sports figure who had the guts to make friends with a dictator, and this dude once skipped practice just to become a tag team partner with Hulk Hogan. Wild! But hey, you gotta give it to the man because he always gets what he wants. Well, except for that one time. After playing 23 games for LA, Rodman got signed by the Mavs in 1999. While playing for the Bulls and Lakers, Rodman wore jersey numbers 91 and 73 because it sums up to his favorite number, which is 10. When he played for the Mavs, though, Rodman decided to shake things up by choosing number 69 as his jersey numbers. Now, with his bad boy reputation, associating the number 69 with Rodman paints a bad image for the league as far as NBA Commissioner David Stern was concerned. And because of that, David Stern rejected Rodman's request, and ever since that day, no NBA player has ever worn the number 69. Rodman eventually added one to make his jersey number more family-friendly. And though his preferred number got banned, there's actually a photo circulating online that the Mavs really printed the controversial jersey. And Mark Cuban even hangs it in his office as some kind of rare memorabilia to prove that this story really happened. And that jersey number is just one of the many things that got banned in the NBA. In 2017, a YouTuber named Dawson Gurley, aka Big Dawes, went viral for going to the NBA Finals while impersonating Klay Thompson. He would also walk around the city and play one-on-ones with strangers on the streets dressed up as Klay, and many people did believe he was really the other half of the Splash Brothers. So anyway, for Game 5 of the 2022 NBA Finals, Gurley decided to take his prank game to the next level by trying to get inside the Chase Center looking like Klay Thompson, and like other unsuspecting fans, Gurley fooled most of the arena staff. And what's even more shocking is that even security officials just casually let him in. After breaching all the different layers of security, Gurley continued walking into the arena, and a few moments later, he made it to the court.
I just take the ball, start dribbling. As soon as I start dribbling, everyone just clears off the court.
After a brief shoot-around, a security official finally noticed that he wasn't the real Klay, and he quickly got escorted out of the arena. Now, later that afternoon, Gurley went back to the Chase Center with actual tickets to watch the game. But before he could even enter the arena, the vice president of security stopped and gave him a lifetime ban letter because of what he did earlier. Anyway, guys, the NBA has also banned players from wearing certain basketball gear and accessories, and this includes this thing right here. A wave of elite players like Kobe, LeBron, and D. Wade started wearing compression tights, a trend that was first introduced by Jerry Stackhouse. League officials, however, didn't like the players wearing leggings because they didn't like the look and thought it was a fashion trend, and so they intended to have it banned. Moving forward, at the same time, science showed that compression tights help players in terms of performance because wearing tights increases blood flow, which then absorbs the strains as muscles are pulled when performing intense exercises. Now, that being said, the league allowed players to wear tights as long as they send a written request form from their doctor detailing that they'll be using them for medical purposes only and not just wearing them because it looks cool. Eventually, the imposed ban on tights didn't last long because of its medical implications, and to make it more visually appealing, the league decided to have their leggings color coordinated with team jerseys to give them a more uniform look, which we now commonly see in today's NBA. Now, as we mentioned earlier, D. Wade certainly got a couple of items banned. While he was successful in making the compression tights trendy, he wasn't as successful when he tried to make his customizable Band-Aid famous. See, after getting a cut underneath his left eye during the 2009 season, Dwayne Wade started wearing a Band-Aid as most normal people would do. The only thing, however, was that they were a bit flashy and had different designs on them. Like there was one that had his name on it, a Flash logo, and there was even one with an American flag depicted on it. Though the league allows players to wear Band-Aids or any form of bandages for healthcare purposes, putting personalized branding, a commercial logo, or any type of identification on the item is a big no-no with the league, and as a result, the NBA shut down D. Wade's newly found fashion movement before it even took off. Anyway, guys, aside from Band-Aids and compression tights, the NBA also issued bans on a couple of shoes, and APL's Concept 1 shoe is one of them. Back in 2009, the Athletic Propulsion Lab's Concept 1 shoe introduced a revolutionary feature that can increase a player's vertical leap as much as 3.5 inches, which was called the load and launch technology. When the NBA got wind of the news though, they banned the shoes immediately, citing that whoever uses the pair of sneakers will create an unfair advantage towards other players who were just using regular shoes. Now, at first, I really didn't believe that these shoes were groundbreaking for the NBA to issue a ban, but after looking into it a bit, I was pretty sold that these sneakers could really change the game in the NBA, because here's what I found attached inside of it.
There are actual springs in here.
Wild, guys! With springs like these, players like Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic would have the hops of Vince Carter. Anyway, wearing headbands wasn't really a big fad back in the 90s, but it eventually found its way creeping into the league around the mid-2000s. The NBA initially didn't care about it at first, but after seeing a lot of players start wearing them, they decided to cash in once again and replaced all the team-issued plain headbands with the new version featuring an NBA logo. Now, for some players like Rasheed Wallace, wearing a headband with a silhouette of Jerry West was, not his thing, and so he decided to turn his headband inside out. But as expected, the NBA didn't like what Wallace did, and so the NBA called him for it. Now, some years later, Rondo tried to outsmart the NBA because instead of turning his headband inside out, he wore it upside down, and I think you already know how it all went down. Anyway, next off here is this next banned item that had the potential to create an unfair advantage. Well, that's at least according to the NBA. Among some other things that we'll discuss later, this was a D-Wade item that was flagged by the league, and this time around, it was his controversial goggles. Now, to D-Wade's credit, he admitted that he was having severe migraine issues at the time to justify his use of preferred goggles because that item can really protect his eyes from the light sensitivity. After the Heat had sent the NBA some pictures of his eyewear for approval, they rejected the request, saying that the lenses of the goggles were just too dark and therefore created an unfair advantage because opponents would not be able to see his eyes. The Heat then submitted another type of goggles, which were in return approved by the league. However, this one had specs and were not as tinted as Wade hoped for. In that game against the Knicks, Wade dropped 34 points while wearing the second grade shades. I'm pretty sure if Wade dropped like 50 or 60, the league might have just banned those second grade glasses as well. Anyway, this next one is probably the biggest ban the NBA has ever imposed in league history, and a lot of players clearly weren't happy about it. On October 17, 2005, the fashion-conscious commissioner David Stern once again brought down the hammer by cracking down on players who love to wear baggy casual clothing. Yeah, kinda like that. But I was referring to what Allen Iverson used to wear. Sorry, Timmy. Anyway, the NBA dress code of 2005 disallowed players from wearing any kind of bling or jewelry items, whether it was a chain necklace or pendants or even wearing sunglasses or headphones inside the arena. Players like Jason Richardson say the rule kind of restricts their self-expression, and it feels like it was an attack primarily against black players. Meanwhile, LeBron seems pretty chill about it and has no problem wearing business attire during pre-games. If you enjoyed the content, uplift the channel by hitting like, subscribe, and ring the YouTube bell to meet us again in the next video. Until next time.